Sanbanani Nosipho here and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be all about my skin story. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys the different stages that I went through in clearing up my skin, the different products and the different methods that I tried, so that you guys know what I actually did to get my skin clear, because I don't want to do a skincare routine as I've been requested quite a few times and have you guys buy the products that I'm using at the moment and have them not work for you because I actually didn't use those products to clear my skin. So I do hope that you guys find this video helpful. I hope that maybe you find a few new methods that you maybe would have not considered to get your skin clear. And also thank you so much for clicking play on my video. Thank you so much for all of your support, and I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Yeah, you got yams.
So my skincare story starts all the way in 2005 when I was in grade 7. That is when I started getting pimples when I reached puberty and turned 13. So that's when my skin started giving me problems. But at the time, I think because I hit puberty and it's normal for any teenager to start getting pimples or basically just start experiencing the side effects or the consequences of puberty. So my skin issue was not really a big problem, but I had pimples all over my forehead and a little bit on my cheek area. So what I did to try clear my skin at that point was use Cuticura ointment. I don't know if this is something that is like present around the whole world. I think it might just be a South African product, but I think a lot of you South African people will be familiar with Cuticura and a lot of people swear by it. But I tried it when I was 13 and it didn't work. And I won't say that it didn't work because the product itself is not effective, but like I said, I had just hit puberty, so my skincare problem was actually hormonal and not topical. So Cuticura was not going to fix my skin problems because my hormones were out of whack. So throughout my high school years, again, my skin just kept getting worse and kept getting worse because, like I said, all of the things that I was using weren't really working for me. I was an avid pimple popper, so all of the pimples that I'd ever get on my face, I was always popping because I was extremely eager to get them off my face. So I think that brings us to maybe like our first tip of the video, is when you have pimples, as tempting as it is, don't pop them, because essentially you open up your skin and you open up your pores to receiving more bacteria. And if you didn't know, bacteria contribute to pimples in a very big and malicious way. So you're probably not going to be safe popping your pimples. So if you pop your pimples, stop it. Try keep your hands off your face, again, because of the transfer of germs, especially if you've got bad skin, because you're just reinfecting your face again and again and again, and everything that you're trying is really actually just going to be going to the pits because you just keep taking yourself 3 steps back. So I tried the Garnier Step products and they didn't work for me. Skipped that. I went to Clearasil as well, didn't work for me, skipped that. So fast forward, because like a lot of stuff, like, let me not say a lot of stuff, very little happened in my high school years because, yeah, I was using products to try clear my skin, but they weren't working. So I'm not gonna like mention every single product that I use because that's gonna take forever. But by the time that I got to matric, I had reached like boiling point with my frustration with my skin, because essentially I was turning 18 and puberty typically ends at around 21. So I was just like, no, my skin should be like getting better, but my skin was honestly genuinely getting worse. Like if I had to show you guys my matric dance photos, like maybe if I'm feeling extra, like I'll find one and I'll put it up so you guys could see like how terrible my skin was. Like it was so bad, and I didn't have like pustular acne, so I didn't have yeah, that is what it's called, pustular acne. I had, okay, if you didn't know, there are different types of pimples that you can get. There's pustular acne, there's blackheads, there's whiteheads, and then there's just like normal pimples, like the normal bumps. So I just had the normal bumps, but I had like 10,000 bumps, 500 blackheads, and 15,000 whiteheads. So, and like I said, a lot of the stuff was concentrated on my forehead, so that was a nightmare for me. But I didn't have crazy pustular acne. So in high school I didn't try the medication route much because my mom wasn't really keen on that, especially because she was just like convinced that my acne would go away as soon as I passed puberty, which is obviously very traumatizing for me because I was just like ready to get my skin clear. Anyway, when I got to university now, because I guess I was free from my mom and I could go to like hospitals, and not hospitals, to doctors on my own now. I guess because I was away from home, I decided to start seeking medical attention for my skin. So I went to different doctors, and what I started on with my medical treatment was Benzac. So essentially doctors will not want to first throw you on medication, well, depending on the doctor that you go to, but they're going to try the topical route first, and you know, the milder methods to clear your skin. And if all of those fail, then they'll start putting you on medication, different treatments, to see how those work for you. So when I went on Benzac, it really didn't do much for my skin, didn't really work, so I stopped with that at the time. I actually use Benzac now when I have like pimples to spot treat, and it works perfectly fine. So I guess maybe the timing was just wrong. So the first drug that I got put on was minocycline, which is a tetracycline derivative, and it is an antibiotic. So the way that antibiotics works to clear your skin is that they target the bacteria. So as I mentioned before, bacteria are comedogenic, or they cause acne. So if you have an open pore, bacteria gets in there, does its magic work, you get pus, you get a pimple. So essentially when they give you antibiotics, they target all of the bacteria and not necessarily your actual skin issues. So not the oil in your skin, not anything minus the bacteria. So if the bacteria are your problem, if the bacteria is sorted out, your skin will clear up. But what's important to note with the antibiotics is that antibiotics, firstly, there's a high chance of you being resistant to them in the future when you actually need them. Like, let's say for instance, you've been using antibiotics to clear your skin on and off for like 5 years, not finishing your course, being a bad patient, and then now you get TB. So when you get to the hospital and we try to treat you with TB medication, which are antibiotics, now you can't get your TB cleared because you're resistant to all of the drugs that we use to treat TB. So the tricky part is that in the future it could come back to bite you. And then the second thing is that antibiotics, because they kill bacteria, even the good flora in your body's targeted. So I got a lot of yeast infections when I was on the antibiotics because they killed the good bacteria. Fungus grew, not fungus, yeast grew, which is a fungus. And yeah, I got recurrent yeast infections, which was terrible for me. So the side effects that I was getting from the antibiotics, in my opinion, for me personally, were really not worth the effects that I thought I was getting, because my skin wasn't clearing up that much anyway. I also got a lot of throat infections. Again, same concept behind the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. So fast forward, didn't work for me. Went back to my doctor, and my doctor then prescribed me doxycycline. So that's a stronger antibiotic, same family of antibiotics, also a tetracycline derivative antibiotic, which are protein synthesis inhibitors if you were interested. So basically after I got put on doxy, because it was stronger, was working a bit better. But doxy, wow guys, I have the most embarrassing thing that I think maybe happened to me when I was in university. One day, okay, this is another important fact, if you're going to be taking antibiotics, you need to take them with food. So you have to eat first before you take your antibiotics, because they genuinely like upset your stomach and then you vomit. So obviously I didn't take this seriously. I was going to class, late for class, the 7:30 class, so I was just like, I'll eat when I get to school. I think I had like 2 bites of an apple, and then I drank my antibiotics. So on my way to school, I was walking, got onto campus, and I started feeling like very woozy and nauseous, and I was just like, it's nothing, I'll just like go to the bathroom and like go to the toilet. I might just need the toilet. But I actually needed to vomit. So my body was just like, girl, we ain't having this. You drank your antibiotics without eating, so now we're gonna spew the stuff out. So as you can imagine, I'm walking like along the cobblestone pathway, and eventually I'm just like, I can't do anymore, and I vomited in the trees. Yeah. So that was like obviously exceptionally embarrassing. It was peak hour, people are all coming on campus, so everybody stops and looked at me like, oh, look at the pregnant girl vomiting in the trees. And I was just like, no guys, I just take my medication with food. So if you're taking antibiotics, definitely eat before you take them. And yeah, but otherwise the doxy, again, many side effects for me. And like not many, those 2 particular side effects were like the pits for me. So I stopped taking doxycycline, and I went back to my doctor, and now I was just like, okay, listen, I've tried quarter to everything now. Your other option is to move me to another antibiotic, which I don't think I'm like happy to try because essentially I'm going to be experiencing the same thing. So this is when my doctor prescribed me my miracle drug, which is Accutane or Accutane, depending on which drug you take. Oratane is also an Accutane derivative. And something that's important, a lot of people say like Accutane, what do you call it, Oratane is a milder version of Accutane. It is not. It is a generic. So basically there's the original drug Accutane, which is going to be the, I guess, patented one that costs a lot more money, and then there's Oratane, which is the generic, which is the exact same drug, exact same formulation, works the exact same way, it's just cheaper. So no, it's not because the other one is weaker. Concentrations, if it's a 40 milligram Accutane tablet and a 40 milligram Oratane tablet, exactly same concentration, they work the same, just the original and the generic. Okay, so that's out of the way. So whether you get prescribed either or, you're not getting prescribed like a Chinese knockoff of the original drug. They both work. So I took Oratane. I was put on it for about 3 months. The first time I didn't do it properly. I was missing my medicine schedule because you're supposed to take it at the same time every day, take it consistently. I wasn't doing that. I was missing my medication times. Yeah, so I ended up on an extended program of 5 months because I wasn't taking my medication properly. So but at the end of the 5 months my skin was completely clear and I was absolutely happy. So Accutane is a tretinoic acid medication, so it's a vitamin A derivative, and how it works is it reduces the sebaceous glands in your skin, which is the oil glands in your skin. If you've ever noticed, people with drier skin tend to have less pimples or less skin problems than people with oilier skin because nothing clogs their pores. So basically it converts your skin from oily to dry, and therefore you get less pimples, and also it increases your skin turnover. So basically all of us over a certain period of time shed skin, so your skin will come off. I think you've noticed when you exfoliate you do have dead skin that comes off. So Accutane increases that turnover, so it also helps in fading dark marks that you may have had from your acne journey experience. So that's why that medication cleared my pimples and also helped with a lot of my scarring. But I don't know if you guys have noticed in any of my videos that my forehead is a little bit darker than the rest of my face because I had pimples concentrated on my forehead and I popped a lot there. But otherwise, for the most part, it cleared a lot of that scarring because it was much worse. Trust me. Another thing that's important to note, my camera just cut, so I'm not really sure where, but if you're pregnant or considering getting pregnant, you cannot take Accutane because it's teratogenic. So essentially it can cause very severe birth defects, so you're not allowed to take it when you're pregnant. So what happens is that you need to pledge abstinence or commit to a contraceptive program that you're going to use religiously to prevent that, or else you cannot go on the medication. And secondly, Accutane has quite a lot of side effects, so I would suggest that even though, like I'm saying, it's like probably the only acne drug that's got like an 80 to 90% success rate, because it will definitely clear your skin, like that's not even a question, but you need to consider that it's got quite a few side effects. It's got quite the long list. But the only side effects that I experienced were really dry skin when my skin was peeling, photosensitivity. So if you're on Accutane, you can't go into the sun without sunscreen because your skin will burn, y'all. It will burn, and like your skin will end up having like darker patches and lighter patches, which are actually quite the pest to fix. So don't do that. Don't be going into the sun if your skin is, or rather if you're on Accutane. And then the last thing that I was experiencing is peeling lips. That was the worst for me. So I had like angular stomatitis and my lips were just peeling like crazy. It was actually like very painful. Oh, I also got dry eyes and headaches because the medication dehydrates you quite a lot as well. So when you're on Accutane, you need to drink a lot of water. Anyway, fast forward to, what was I saying about it though? Yeah, so I got, oh, the way that Accutane works also, again, it's calculated by your weight. So how much you weigh determines the concentration of Accutane you get. I think it goes to about 80 milligrams, which is the highest dosage, but typically most people get put on the 20, but you get started on a lower dose because it is quite strong. Oh, and another thing that's really important to note, which is probably the most important next to the teratogenic birth defects, is that Accutane can cause liver damage. So if you're going to be double dosing, self-medicating, taking too much medication because you're thinking that your skin is going to clear faster, you're going to end up with a shredded liver, and I don't think anybody is ready to die for good skin. So definitely don't take your medication as you wish, definitely take it the way that your doctor directs you to. And also the dosage that you've been given is good for your body. Don't be trying to get your hands on higher doses because you feel that's gonna clear up your skin faster. It's not. It's just gonna make you sick. So don't try that at home. So essentially, let me like stop waffling because that is actually where my skin story ends. So what cleared my skin up? Nosipho. What cleared my skin up was Accutane, and that is how I ended up with clear skin. Also, another thing that's important to note, if you take Accutane when you are in your puberty stages, you are eliminated, or rather saved, from teenage acne, but you can still get adult acne. So a lot of people have taken it when they were teenagers and then got acne again when they were adults, and just say, oh no, the medication doesn't actually work because it's supposed to keep you from getting acne for the rest of your life, but you actually just skipped a stage of acne and moved into another. So it's wiser for you to take Accutane once you've past puberty and you're now going into adulthood, because that's when you're going to have the longest lasting results. Because ever since I took Accutane, I really get pimples here and there, like very few. Maybe sometimes when I'm on my period I'll get like one pimple, but like the most pimples that I've had on my face at a time since in the past 3 years is probably like 2. I've never had more pimples than that, and considering that I used to have really bad skin, that is a big improvement. So what I use now, I think you guys saw maybe in my favorites video, is my Body Shop Tea Tree Oil range products, and I use E45 cream for my skin to moisturize it, or I use Eucerin cream to moisturize my skin. And that's actually honestly the extent of me looking after my skin now. So that's why I said I didn't want to just show you guys those products and be like, oh, buy Body Shop Tea Tree Oil, oh, buy this, and then you try it and you're like, oh, but the stuff doesn't work. But it's working for me because I guess I'm just keeping my skin where it already is, which is pretty much clear. So might be a little bit deceptive to say clear skin equals my products. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. Do let me know now if you guys would still like to hear what my skincare routine is, and I'll definitely do that for you guys. So thank you so much for watching my video again. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.